les chiffres de la compagnie en juin. On parle un petit peu de projets, puisqu'il y a quand même des projets d'envergure qui sont relativement intéressants. Et enfin, j'ai le plan de questions que vous aurez pour le management. Donc, Paul.
Thank you very much, Arno. All right, we've got a bit of a presentation here. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for attending our press conference to report our results for the financial year ended 30th of June 2013. Basically, looking at the environment, we've seen a continuity of a depressed economy in Europe, more particularly in the French market, where we've got unemployment running in excess of 11%, and a negative economic situation in that country. As you know, France is the #1 tourist provider for Mauritius, so it is quite worrying. But I think to counterbalance that, the UK is enjoying renewed economic prosperity, fortunately, and of course Germany, with Madame Merkel having been re-elected, is also doing quite well, more particularly because they make things in Germany that people want to buy at a premium price, such as motor cars. So I think that's all very good, and we've seen an increase in tourist arrivals from both of those markets in Mauritius. Hotel rooms are still being built in Mauritius. There are more and more hotels being built, so people are complaining about the market and being insufficient. Does everybody understand English? Okay. But there's not enough air seats, and that we definitely know. But fortunately, with the announcement of Emirates Airlines to start the A380 air service with effect from the 16th of December, it'll add another 155 seats per day to the market. But I think it's the attraction of that equipment that really is a game changer and will encourage more and more people to come to Mauritius. So we see very good signs that, in fact, the problem of air access is starting to be resolved. There's also the TY Dreamliner service that will start in April of next year, and that'll be a weekly service out of the UK. And already forward bookings for that service are beyond expectations, according to TUI. So we've entered into an agreement with TUI for that service. So I think that's very good. And of course, the new airport terminal, which opened at the end of last month, is definitely a step up, and it's world class, and it adds a huge amount of capacity. I don't know. I heard that it can handle 4 times the number of passengers that the old airport terminal handles. So therefore, I think we're saying to the world that we're in the business of connectivity. We've built the facility. Now we need to ramp up in terms of flights into Mauritius. Our future as an island state depends on connectivity. So I think the government's decision to invest in this new airport terminal is wise, and now we've just got to fill it up with more airline seats, and of course that's fantastic for tourism. In terms of how have we done, well, year on year, you see that our occupancy in Mauritius has declined from 74 to 69, but we're still trading ahead of the industry, which finished the year at 63, down from 65. So all in all, you see consistently we are trading ahead of industry, but there has been a decline in the occupancy. RevPAR, which is the aggregate between the occupancy and the average rate, is almost flat, just slightly down about 100 groups. And in terms of Maldives, you'll see that we've consistently grown year on year from 54 to 67 to 72. We're just now narrowed the gap between the industry at 78 and ourselves at 72. So Maldives is doing extremely well for Lux. In terms of Reunion, again, we've seen a decline largely as a result of the drop in the French market of 6 points. But we're still ahead of the industry just by 1 point in this case. But it is obviously challenging in the industry when you're depending on one market. Again, a marginal decrease in RevPAR of about 100 groups, largely due to the occupancy shortfall. And our results for the year show a growth in revenue on a statutory basis of 3,714,000,000 to 3,771,000,000, producing an EBITDA going from 667 million to 774 million. So growth in excess of 100 million at EBITDA level. At operating profit level, you see again that carried through just over 100 million, and down in terms of attributable profit, going from 27 million last year to 103 million this year, and earnings per share increasing almost four, from 24 cents a share to 91 cents a share. We didn't increase the number of shares in issue during the year, so that is a pari passu comparison. In terms of the segmental revenue, you see Mauritius declined slightly by about 40 million in terms of revenue, but grew in terms of profitability by 74 million. So obviously our efficiency has paid dividends in Mauritius. Maldives grew by about 100 million at revenue level and 42 million in terms of the operating profit, and Reunion was flat in terms of the revenue and declined in operating profit. So there's our total revenue. If you include Tomasa, Tomasa is an associate, because we only own 50%. So when we include the Tomasa revenue, we show an increase of 2%. And that's EBITDA on a consolidated basis, all hotels operated by Lux, rising from 750 to 855 million, a growth of 14%. And operating profit for Mauritius growing 37% off a 2% decline in revenue, Maldives growing 30% off an increase of 9% in revenue, and Reunion a decline of 66% against flat revenue. So overall, 2% growth in revenue producing a 29% growth in operating profit, which is very positive. Balance sheet, nothing really to highlight here. The movement in non-current assets, in other words, fixed assets would be attributable to depreciation. Current assets would be our working capital. That means we reduce stocks, reduce our debtors here. Our equity has increased as a result of the retained earnings coming from the attributable earnings, which we carry in the equity. Borrowings have reduced by 406 million, representing the debt that we've repaid in Reunion and Maldives. And this accounts for our creditors, which have increased at the end of the period. So an increase in net asset per share. The gearing has come down from 59 to 57% on a fully diluted basis, meaning if we were to translate all the bonds into equity, then the gearing would be at the level of 51%. So there's the borrowings. I think it's pretty significant to see where we came from over the 3-year period. Now we're under the ceiling of 5 billion, and this year, in fact, we'll be paying down 700 million, 500 million, sorry, 500 million in this current financial year ended June 14. We'll be paying 500 million down, so that figure will be reading at the end approximately 4.5 billion. So that debt is coming down to more acceptable levels. The good news here is that we've got a favourable increase in our cash and cash equivalents, going from 95 negative last year to 245 positive this year. So what are we doing? Yes, it's a difficult environment, and yes, it's still tough out there. But I think we're painting a very positive picture here. We continue the strategy in maximizing our RevPAR. And what does that mean? It means that yielding when we can, and where obviously demand or supply exceeds demand, we obviously have to make sure that we're in the market at the right price and we get the right occupancy. We have definitely made huge improvement in our diversification of the market, particularly with China, which is yielding very positive results as a result of the flights. We're really focusing everything on promoting the Lux brand to make sure that we communicate the value and the differentiation that the Lux brand offers. So we're maximizing brand exposure through a PR and social media strategy. We're obviously at the level of the property doing everything to enhance the experience so that we can increase the repeat business, and that metric is being carefully monitored so that we do in fact achieve that, and we're optimizing cost containment so that we get the margin improvement. As you see, that we did get that by 3 points during the review. In addition, we've converted a significant amount of our rupee debt so that we can reduce our effective rate of interest, which over the totality of our debt, we've reduced the cost by 100 basis points. So we're now, average cost of debt is 5%, which is not too bad. In fact, very good. 5% across the entire debt profile. As you know, we reported at the last meeting that we're selling the villas on a sale and a rental pool basis, and we've received reservations for 6 out of the 12 villas with deposits paid. And this is one statistic that I'm particularly pleased with, is the number of hours training that we offer to all our people. For the year ended June 13, all our people on average accomplished 42 hours of continuous learning. That was an increase of 38% on the previous year. We targeted to achieve 60 hours per team member across the entire group for this current year. And it's our belief that it is through the education and enhancement of the talent and the ability of all our team members to deliver superior world-class service and enhance value to all our guests that we can improve our results. So it's a very important metric that we focus on, is the hours delivered. And obviously, meaningful training. So, it's not just training for training's sake, but it's really to add value to our people. In May of this year, we worked 4 days in what we call it our strategy Lux 2016. We worked on our strategic plan, which the word at the bottom, execution, was the key word, and everybody knows that strategic plans generally wind up in the bottom drawer of the desk, and get forgotten about. But in our case, it's the opposite. We converted this plan that's summarised up in front of you into a number of initiatives, hundreds, if not thousands of initiatives across the entire group, all of which have been, we call it SMART initiatives, because they all become measurable. It's the important thing, that we set goals and they become measurable, and we constantly monitor the implementation or the execution. So there are 6 pillars here. We're growing revenues, we're optimizing costs, we put our people first, we're focusing very much on elevating the guest experience through helping people celebrate life. That is our purpose, by the way, this poster that's up in front of you. Our vision is that we make each moment matter. So I think at Lux it's all about making sure that we deliver against our vision and our purpose and our values. And the strength of the brand becomes critical. We don't have any metrics yet, and we're a little young for that, but we will shortly be getting into a brand strength metric exercise, and we'll be able to report on that in the future just to see how strong the brand is becoming out there. And then focusing more and more on optimizing our distribution and how do we yield on an improved basis to enhance our revenues. And the last one is project development. As all of you know, we own 7 hotels or 6 hotels, and we have a share of 50% share of one hotel, and we also own the lease to the island and the operation on the Isle de Coco. And that is on the asset basis. And we formed a management company which we call Lux Hospitality Limited, which is a 100% owned subsidiary of Lux Island Resorts, the quoted company. That vehicle, that management company, owns the brand and all the management contracts that we currently operate. And the objective of that company is to develop, not by building and owning hotels, but to develop by managing other people's hotels in return for a management fee. So that is what is generally known as an asset-light strategy, meaning we don't invest in the buildings. We see our business is mainly managing and marketing hotels rather than owning hotels. We still own hotels, we're still responsible for the hotels that we own and for those assets, but it's very much the management and the realization of growth in earnings through our management fee stream from the hotels that we manage. And the result of all of that is to attain double-digit growth in EBITDA on a consistent basis. So, and we've said in our announcement, which you'll get a copy of shortly, that we're well on track to achieve double-digit growth year on year in terms of our EBITDA. Following up on that strategy, I'm pleased to announce that we have signed a third-party management contract in the United Arab Emirates in Ajman. Ajman is an emirate which is there's a site within Ajman which is a beachfront site. It's approximately half an hour from Dubai International Airport, and we signed a long-term management contract with the owners of this project, and this will be a 5-star 190-key luxury resort, which will be branded Lux, and we will manage. And the architect of this is fellow by the name of Jean-Michel Gatti, who's the principal of Denniston Architects, one of the world's foremost hotel architects. I've worked with him before on a number of projects, and he's brilliant. I'm very excited about this. I think he's going to design something that's going to be truly not only world class but quite remarkable for that region. And secondly, we expect that hotel will open the beginning of 2016. We will try for the end of 15, but latest beginning of 16. And the other exciting new development is that as a result of research that we've made, we've realized that not only is China the largest tourist market for the world, with 94 million annualized total tourists outbound, but shortly, within the next couple of years, is going to be the largest receiver of tourists in the world. And coupled with the fact that there is a massive domestic tourism industry in China. So the result of all of that is that there are more hotels being built or planned in the People's Republic of China than the rest of the world put together. So we thought it'd be a good, wise move to take the Lux brand to China and operate hotels there, because it not only will we take advantage of that growth on a management contract basis, in other words, we're not investing in hotels, but we will manage other people's hotels under the Lux brand, but also it would enhance the strength of the brand of Lux in what has become a very important market for our property in Maldives. About 30% of our business comes out of China, and it's becoming increasingly important in Mauritius, and with what we expect will be a ramping up connectivity between Mauritius and China. We expect, I'll make a prediction. I just think that China will become the number one market for Mauritius, as it is in Maldives. But in order to do that, it would take, obviously, a significant ramping up of air connectivity. One thing's for sure, the market's there. What do we have to do? Is make sure we get the seats. We get this. Already, the 3 direct services are very well frequented, very successful, and the Chinese tourists, they really enjoy the Mauritian experience. So if you think about it, Maldives is successful where you would think that it wouldn't be successful, because the Chinese love to go on excursions, and Maldives is very difficult to offer that, whereas Mauritius can offer that and does offer that very successfully. So that's my prediction. So I'm very pleased with that development. So just to talk about our current quarter, which ends today, we have seen very strong growth in our revenue, and we're forecasting, I think, a 15% growth in revenue for the quarter, and a growth in statutory terms of EBITDA going from 2 million last year for the quarter to 40 million on a statutory basis. And if we consolidate to Massa, I think we go from zero last year to 53 million. So you see significant growth in quarter one, which, as you know, is the low season. And if you ask me what was the main contributory factor to that growth, I will tell you the number one factor is China. So it's been pretty phenomenal. But also we've seen very good growth out of the UK. and also Germany. So I think we've had a very good quarter, and in terms of Q2 ended in December, our booking pattern is definitely consistent with that of last year, and our revenue projections are definitely ahead of last year. So I'm confident that we will complete the semester, the 6 months, with a significant increase in both revenue and in EBITDA for the 6 months. So yes, we're still not in conditions which I could call rosy for the industry, but when you have time to digest the content of this announcement, you'll see that we're pretty bullish about. Certainly, our performance last year, ended June, was very good on a historical comparison basis, and our business, our current business for this quarter, our business going forward is projected to do well. So I think that the air access issue that has been probably the most worrying issue for all of us is starting to turn the corner, and I'm with the increasing diversification, and hopefully we could emulate the strategy that Mauritius has followed in China, with a similar strategy in Russia, and connect Moscow with Mauritius, because that market is equally lucrative, but unfortunately is not being, there is no air access that's able to service that market other than the Emirates. But if there were to be a direct air service linking Moscow or any of the Russian major cities with Mauritius, then I have no doubt that it would be equally successful. So the markets are there as alternatives to the negative markets such as France, and we just have to ensure that we have the connectivity with those markets where the business. We have to go where the business is, and make sure that we connect Mauritius with those. Maldives continues to do extremely well. Doesn't suffer from the connectivity problems that Mauritius suffers from. Reunion definitely suffers from the issue of being a single market focused. Obviously, Reunion is focused on France, and France clearly is in trouble. So, de facto, operating in Reunion, we obviously have a problem. So we have to, and it's not that easy to diversify, because the Chinese need to wrap through Mauritius in order to gain access to Reunion. The South African market has opened up because they've been able to change the requirements for the visas for South Africans. So we're trying to ramp up with the Reunion Tourism Board to promote the air services linked between Reunion and South Africa. Germany is not doing too bad. We're also trying to promote the Mauritian business into Reunion, and also increase the domestic market for our hotels in Reunion. So in short summary, not too bad.
What I would like to add also is that obviously you've seen there's a lot on the plate, a lot of development, and for that, at the board level, we decided to stabilize the management team and get obviously the contract of Paul to be renewed until June 2017. So Paul, with Julien, Desiree, and the whole team are going to really be able to unfold this strategy going forward, and it was important for the company to get all this behind us.
Thank you. I think what I'd like to say is, I've enjoyed the support of the board and the shareholders and the chairman, Mr. Lages, always given great support to helping us achieve our goals. But our business is all about people. It's not about numbers. The numbers are a result of people. And to me, there are three factors that are most important to the hotel business: people, people, and people. And I've always believed in that, and always will believe in that. And that's why I've laid great emphasis today on the hours continuous learning that we invest back into our people, help our people grow, and help our people do a great job. I just get so encouraged when I read the reviews on, for example, if you go on TripAdvisor and you read the reviews of our hotels, it's pretty phenomenal, the experience that our guests are writing about their experience. We've made a point to make sure that it doesn't matter where people come from. You'll even read reviews of Mauritian people that stay in our hotels that say they couldn't believe the welcome that they received. And we've made a point that whether it's Mauritians, Reunion, or Chinese, or English, or Indian, or wherever they come from, everybody gets treated the same way. And they get great service, world-class service, and a lot of care and consideration. So we're very, very adamant about delivering that level of service in our properties. And I read those reviews daily for all our hotels, and I just get so encouraged when I see how our guests are reporting back. In fact, our hotel in Belmar, Lux Belmar, was the first hotel in Mauritius to receive over 1,000 excellent reviews for our hotel. So they're now at 1,052, and the next one to do that will be Lux Grongo. They're at 940. They've got 60 to go, and they'll be the second hotel in Mauritius to achieve 1,000 excellent reviews. And then probably the next one maybe be a toss-up between Tomasa and Le Morne. Not sure who'll win that race, but they're both ramping up to become the third and fourth hotels to achieve 1,000 excellent reviews. So I'm very, very pleased. Be happy to take any questions if anybody has any.
Le contrat has been managed the mission accomplie le projet?
Pas du tout, non, la mission vient de commencer, je pense. Non, pour moi, la satisfaction, c'est de voir ce que le monde de notre équipe, ce qu'ils ont accompli, et à Maurice, au Maldives, et à La Réunion. Et ensuite de ça, maintenant, nous allons nous opérer en dehors de l'île Maurice, en dehors de l'océan Indien. Et je pense que ça, c'est un atout pour une compagnie qui est 100% mauricien. Et je crois que c'est avant tout, pour moi, ça c'est une grande satisfaction. Donc, la mission continue et je crois que nous allons dans un autre chapitre.
You talk about China. Is it time for a second player as airplane to come to Mauritius?
Yeah, I believe.
Because we know that Mauritius can't fly. They are not buying new airplanes.
No, they're not buying new aircraft, unfortunately, no. Yes, I hope so. I hope I think what we need is to promote. We've got to keep promoting to drive demand. We drive demand up, air access will come. It's not. There's no secret in this business. Where there's demand, you'll get the air access. And I have no doubt that you know, we keep promoting, we build great satisfaction amongst the tourists that come from China. They go back, they give great reviews, they want to come back, they want to repeat, they want to recommend to their relatives. Then we'll see another carrier coming in. Yeah, I mean, there's a bilateral that allows for 14 flights a week. Why not? You know, at the moment we're on, you know, if you include Hong Kong, we're at 6 max. You know, yeah, 6 max. So 7 if you include the linkage through Singapore and Malaysia. But you know, we could definitely with 3 direct plus 3 with Hong Kong in the peak. So you know, we can go up to 14. So there's a lot of scope there, definitely. Any other questions? Il y a d'autres questions? Pardon?
Jean-Marc is a little bit late.
I know.
Very
Jean-Marc, what's going on?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Ça va?
Is that let's see the
You correct?
I heard your last question.
Yeah.
But couldn't you believe in this Chinese market?
Really happening. Why not? Je comprends pas pourquoi les gens se posent cette question-là. Bien sûr.
Vous sentez un peu culturellement les frères des accueillis?
Pourquoi culturellement?
Vous les connaissez?
On est culturellement prêt pour les Sud-Africains, on est culturellement prêt pour tous les autres marchés. Pourquoi pas
Quel est le potentiel?
Énorme, énorme. 93 millions de départs par an. La Chine contribue. C'est énorme, énorme.
Quel est notre objectif? Quel est notre objectif par rapport?
Il faut profiter. Il faut profiter. Il faut profiter, tout simplement. Les Maldives, ils ont su profiter. Pour eux, c'est presque 300 000. Ils ont augmenté le nombre de Chinois par 34% pour l'année jusqu'à fin juin. Ça, c'est les Maldives. Bon, d'accord, c'est plus près, mais qu'est-ce qu'on a? Pourquoi les Maldives sont plus culturellement prêts pour recevoir les Chinois et nous non? Je crois que nous sommes beaucoup plus prêts. On a une culture chinoise qui existe déjà. Plus, en sus de ça, les Chinois, qu'est-ce qu'ils veulent faire? Ils veulent visiter le pays. Le Maldives, c'est impossible. Vous allez à une île, puis une autre île.
Nous avons suffisamment les offrir, par exemple en termes d'achat, de shopping et tout, nous avons suffisamment les offrir.
Ça s'améliore. Ça, c'est bon. Je ne dis pas que tout est parfait, mais on est en train d'apprendre et pour moi, c'est un mouvement.
Mais le problème, c'est d'avoir le contact à l'intérieur de la Chine. Est-ce que MTPA, ils font le nécessaire pour avoir le contact nécessaire?
Ils sont en train de le faire. Je viens de le dire, la promotion, c'est très important. Et on vient de lancer on a annoncé que nous allons opérer les hôtels en Chine. On va planter le drapeau de luxe en Chine. Pourquoi? Parce qu'on voudrait avoir la visibilité de notre marque et notre savoir-faire. Donc on va améliorer les contacts avec la Chine. C'est une question de promouvoir. Et ils adorent. Quand moi je parle souvent avec les Chinois, je suis souvent en contact avec l'ambassade de Chine à Maurice et vraiment la réaction est très très positive de tous ceux qui viennent ici, que ce soit des familles, que ce soit des couples en lune de miel, que ce soit des gens qui vont faire le mariage ici. On a un service mariage déjà dans un de nos hôtels, avec une équipe de vidéos, de photos, avec une gamme de robes, de mariés, etc. Donc il vient et ils vont faire le photographe aussi. Et qu'est-ce qu'ils veulent les Chinois avant tout? Ils veulent le Wi-Fi pour partager leurs photos. Ils veulent prendre les photos. Ils prennent les photos de tout. Des gens, de la nourriture, des scènes et tout. Et puis ils partagent en real time. Donc il faut avoir un Wi-Fi à haute débit et ils partagent comme ça. Et c'est ça ce qu'ils veulent faire. Donc ils veulent des expériences. Il y a des expériences à Maurice. Je suis sûr.
Monsieur, déjà, vous sentez conscient de la crise à Maurice ici?
Je crois qu'on est sur la bonne voie. Je crois que le nouveau air terminal est un bon pas géant en avance parce que ça donne un signal au monde entier qu'on voudrait recevoir plus. Parce que la connectivité, c'est très important. Donc, on est capable maintenant de recevoir plus de passagers. Et évidemment, il faut augmenter. C'est important, très important. Parce qu'on continue à construire les hôtels, il faut continuer à augmenter le nombre de sièges qui viennent. On est une île, on dépend de la connectivité de notre île avec le reste du monde. Sans ça, on ne peut rien faire. Donc, ça c'est important. Emirates qui vient le 16 décembre à 380, c'est extraordinaire. Je crois que c'est avec une augmentation de 155 passagers par jour. Et ce n'est pas seulement ça qui équivaut plus de 54 000 passagers au siège de plus, mais c'est plutôt l'équipement qui est important. Parce qu'à 380, c'est extraordinaire. Donc, pour moi, je crois qu'il y a des signes qu'avec des restrictions, bien sûr, la France, c'est négatif. L'économie et tout ça, donc le nombre d'arrivées, c'est négatif. Donc, il faut chercher ailleurs. Et c'est ça ce qu'on a fait. Un peu en retard, mais on a fait. Et déjà, on voit le résultat. Je crois que c'est grâce aux touristes chinois que pas mal d'hôtels ont pu avoir un low season beaucoup plus performant cette année que l'année dernière, grâce aux arrivées de la Chine.
On a parlé aussi de l'Inde.
En plus aussi.
Et le potentiel est là.
Le potentiel est aussi, mais malheureusement, on n'a pas de vol. Sauf les vols Emirates. Mais on n'a pas de vol, on n'a pas de connexion. Si Emirates répète la stratégie qu'ils ont fait en Chine, ici, on va avoir le même. Bien sûr. C'est ça. Il faut diversifier. On est en train de voir une croissance positive en Angleterre, c'est très bien. En Allemagne, c'est très bien. Mais la France, c'est négatif. Donc, ok, il y a quelques questions? Ok, merci beaucoup.
Merci.